Day 388 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again another day, another LeetCode problem where we're doing daily LeetCode problems. And today we have question number 2942, find words containing character. The difficulty level is easy, so you already know we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as well. But before we get started, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you need any new Apple AirPods, go ahead and check out that link in the description so you can get you some. Now let's see what the question says. You are given a zero-indexed array of strings, words, and a character X. Return an array of indices representing the words that contain the character X. Note that the returned array may be in any order. All right, y'all, so that sounds simple enough, but let's go ahead and take a look at these examples just to make sure we're doing this problem correctly. So in example 1, we have our input words, which equals an array of strings, leet, and code. X equals E. The output is 0, an array of integers 0 and 1. Explanation says E occurs in both words leet and code, hence we return indices 0 and 1. So just to break this down one step further, y'all, we're given X, which in this case is E. We want to see which words in this or which strings in this array of strings contain the letter E. So in this case, LeetCode contains the E and code contains the E. But we're not returning the words themselves. We are returning the indices of those words. So leet is indice 0, code is indice 1. So we return an array of integers 0 and 1. Now let's take a look at example 2. So in example 2, our input words equals an array of strings ABC, BCD, AAAA, CBC. This time X equals A. So we want to see which strings in the array words contains the letter A. Explanation, or the output is 0 and 2. Explanation says A occurs in ABC and AAAA. Hence we return indices 0 and indice 2. Boom. So as we can see, ABC contains the letter A and BCD does not contain the letter A. AAA contains the letter A and CBC does not contain the letter A. So since this ABC contains A and this AAA contains A, we return the two indices, which this is indice 0, this is indice 2. So we return the array of integers 0 and 2. Now let's look at example 3 where it might get a little tricky where none of the strings contain the letter we're looking for. So in example 3, we have the input words equals an array of strings ABC, BCD, AAAA, and CBC. This time X equals Z. The output is a blank array. Explanation says Z does not occur in any of the words, hence we return an empty array. So as you can see, when we look at the array of words, none of these strings contain Z. And since none of these strings contain Z, we just return a blank array because there's no indices that contain Z, which is what we're looking for. So now that we understand the question, y'all, let's get into the fun part, the actual solution. Make sure you stick around after this solution because I have two solutions for y'all today, just two different ways of solving the same problem. So let's get started with this first solution. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to declare a variable. We could call it res, and we could set that equal to an array of integers, and we are going to put our parentheses outside of it like this to initialize it. Now this res right here, this is going to store our output. As you can see, our output is an array of integers, so we're going to create an array of integers right here so we can store our output. Now all we have to do is we could say for open up the parentheses I comma word, come outside of that parentheses, say in words dot enumerated, open up the parentheses and open up the brackets. So what this enumerated is going to do is it's going to get us the index, which will be I, and it'll get us the word, which will be the value or the actual word, right? So, and for example, in words, when we enumerate this in example 1, it'll get us the index, which will be 0, and it'll get us the value or the element of that index, which in this case would be 0. And then same for here, will get us the index here, which would be 1, and then they get us the value of index 1, which in this case would be the string code. That's what this enumerator is going to do. It's going to get us the index and the value associated with that index. Then So now once we do that, now all we have to do is say if word dot contains, hence the name of the question, if word dot contains, open up the parentheses X, we can open up the brackets and we could just say res dot append, open up the parentheses I, because remember we are returning the index. So this is, once again, this is enumerated is going to get us the index and the word. So if we find a word and it contains X that we're looking for, we just append that index to our res integer array up here. Boom. Now we just got to come right here and we can say return res. That should be all she wrote, y'all. Let's go ahead and give it a run. Make sure it runs properly before we submit it. It's accepted, so let's go ahead and submit it. See what that time complexity is looking like, y'all. Let's see. Ooh, 6 milliseconds beats 36.36% of users with Swift. We could definitely get those numbers up, but right now we just want to strengthen our fundamentals, make sure we have a strong understanding of the basics. I feel like this is a very basic solution that we can use and learn from as we continue down our LeetCode journey. When we get to more medium and hard problems, we're going to need to know how this stuff works. This is a simple and easy to understand solution, so that's why I wanted to make sure to include it. Now, with that being said, y'all, guess what? Like I said, we have two solutions, y'all. So guess what, y'all? Guess what? We got a one-liner. That's right, y'all. We can also solve this problem with one line of code, and the solution is just as simple and easy as the other one. The other one was just a little bit more detailed and broken down, I feel like, just for understanding and basic beginner purposes. But now let's get into this one-liner. So for the word one-liner, all we have to do is say words, right? That's going to get us our array of strings. Then we're going to say filter. So we're going to filter out certain words. Then we open up the bracket and we can say words, square bracket, $0. So this $0 is going to represent each word in the array word. So it's going to go through this, then it's going to go through this, and so on and so on. Or it'll go through this, then it'll go through this, then it'll go through this, then it'll go through this. That's what this $0 represents. Then we just need to see if this $0 dot contains, open up the parentheses, X. Boom. And then, oh, sorry, y'all. It should be words, because we need to return the indices. So it should be words indices dot filter. So this is going to get us the indices. Once again, we need to make sure we return the indices, not the words themselves. So that's why we need to include this indices right here. So words dot indices dot filter, then it's going to get the words and contain X, and it's going to return those indices. So let's go ahead and give this a run. See how it runs. Let's see, and it's accepted. So let's go ahead and submit it, y'all, and see what happens after we submit it with that time. Ooh, that time is way better, y'all. Look at that. 0 milliseconds beats 100% of users with Swift. That's what I'm talking about. Those are the numbers I like to see, y'all. So with that being said, I hope y'all learned something today, and I hope to see y'all here tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. I'll see y'all then.